my middle child asks me if I'm eating potato chips. Like that's where I'm at in life. It also dawned on me that in my 40 years, I've spent more than 30 years celebrating the 4th of July and less than 10 years celebrating Juneteenth. I wasn't aware of Juneteenth when I was in my 20s, and after finding out about it, I didn't celebrate it. I didn't really know how to celebrate it or what we should do. And that really got me involved with moving to Iowa, which I don't love. I now live in a small town called Lake Mills, Iowa, which makes no sense. They don't have any lakes or mills in the town. The biggest thing that happened in Lake Mills, Iowa is our Dollar General got a self-checkout line. That was big. That was big. But being a part of northern Iowa and southern Minnesota, I think it's super important to use your voice, use whatever platform that you have, to put out love and positivity. Celebrating the 4th of July, also known as Independence Day, which commemorates the ratification of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, in no way am I saying don't celebrate 4th of July, but my message is, in 1776, the phrase all men are created equal, which is in the Declaration of Independence, and it's a foundational principle of the United States. It did not apply to black people. It did not then, and in my personal opinion, it does not now. To go back, on July 4th, 1776, America was freed from paying taxes to King George. African slaves and their descendants were not freed from slavery. That would come much later. With no CNN or Fox News or television, radio, internet, any of that, it took a very long time for the word to get around to the country. Many slave owners weren't eager to release this information, and even more of them were vengeful and hateful to the property, quote unquote. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863 by President Abraham Lincoln, the guy with the penny and the $5 bill. What history doesn't teach you is Honest Abe had slaves himself. And many believe he signed that just because of the enormous pressure of the Civil War. I'll set your time for that. To be clear, Lincoln did sign the Emancipation Proclamation, but black people freed themselves. They did it so by figuratively and literally fighting in the war and their constant fight for change. Frederick Douglass, who is someone I wish everybody know, urged Lincoln to emancipate the enslaved. The Civil War ended in April 1865, and just as a reminder, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed January 1st, 1863. So it took 2.5 years before that news physically traveled to the southern Confederate states and Galveston, Texas, that the enslaved were no longer slaves, that they were free. So as July 4th was a liberation for white America, so is Juneteenth, the liberation day for black America. But it's not just a black holiday, or a woke holiday, as some people would like you to believe. It's a historic day no one in this country should not be aware of. As they ban books and whitewash our history, if you truly believe slavery was wrong, you should celebrate Juneteenth with us. July 4th means barbecues and cookouts, day off from work, matching outfits, fireworks, and Facebook debates. What Juneteenth means to you and your family, that's up to you. This now federal holiday actually comes from something meaningful, and it's not about a pagan ritual or idol worship like most of the other holidays in this country. You should make it a day of learning and reflecting and celebrating the fact that you all are here today, and we didn't know what the turnout was going to be, not only means a lot to me, but it means that we're here aligned with the same purpose. Also, this place is very nice and fancy. This place is so nice, I don't know what to steal first. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I use humor in every aspect of my life, including hard, tough conversations. I want many of you to leave here feeling like you learned something, that you associate today worthy of a celebration, and that you feel the importance of Juneteenth. Someone that was insanely instrumental in having Juneteenth celebrated here in southern Minnesota is a man by the name of John Vernon Smith. He is no longer with us. He is the gentleman you see in front of me. He passed away last December, and in many ways, this program would not be possible without his contribution, without his life experience, without his leadership. He wrote an autobiography book called From Tragedy to Triumph, which he dedicated to his lovely wife, Elaine Smith, who we actually have in the crowd today. This beautiful young lady in red, give her a round of applause. He also dedicated it to his mother, who died when he was at the age of 2. He dedicated it to his father, his stepmother, and his children. And I thought it was only right that we start this program with paying tribute. And there's a wonderful young lady who many of you know, who was a part of the reason why we're here, the Elderly Convention and Visitor Bureau. If you guys can start clapping right now, I'd like to welcome Holly up to the stage.
Well, thanks, Dave. I'm not, ooh, right there. I got ya. I'm not a professional on the mic like Dave. Thank you all for being here. Oh no, we're kicking off the program with a white lady on the microphone. Who's excited for Juneteenth? That was for you. He said this would be fine. So I got the okay. So I promise that the symbolism of passing the mic along today and me snagging this leadership role and handing that power off to others within our community has been my greatest goal and accomplishments of work in these past 6 years. I first met John Smith in early 2023. I was passed his contact information by many people, when I put out a call about starting a community Juneteenth celebration. He had already been leading Juneteenth celebrations within his community starting back in 2015 here in town. So it was wonderful to be able to mesh the work that he was already doing with our resources to bring this event community-wide. John was able to be the star of the show for our first celebration program together in 2023, when we sat down in an interview-style conversation on stage. I felt like I knew John my whole life. That was just one of the skills that he had. He was welcoming, warm, and lighthearted, while continually doing the real work. Even when I ran into him early last year at Thorncrest, he went from greeting me to immediately pitching me how he'd been working on getting a Women's Day celebration going right there at Thorncrest. And I see you all know John too. And he had already written a letter to the mayor to get a proclamation made. He was always doing the real work. Like my friend John, I believe in equality, equity, and belonging. I too put my hope into action. Oh no, this is the danger of having it, even if you got your hands right there, it's just gone immediately. I also, like John, like to take an opportunity with an audience to assert a story or two. John once told Conrad at the office he thought I could, quote, walk on water. John said many things like this in the short time we knew each other. I doubt that John knew this, but beyond being something that I chuckled about from time to time, I also carried that sentiment with me during the more trying seasons of doing the real work. Knowing that if John, who had accomplished so much and made such an impact, believed in me so effortlessly, then I surely could keep moving forward. Mr. Smith came from a long line of educators. His great-grandfather, born into slavery, once free, started his American dream, buying land, starting a family. His son, John's grandfather, James, led their community in building a one-room schoolhouse where James taught. The list of educators is vast. This cousin, a professor, this one, a teacher, a principal. There is something so hope-filled about an entire family tree glittering with educators such as John's. The driving affliction to make better, to inspire, to truly lead your community, to do the real work. I'll share a few sentiments that struck me from John's book, right here. The human experience is filled with tragedy, filled with joy. Proximity to whiteness can alter you from being your true self, your culture, your ancestors. And we are thrust into a season of growth. Growth is uncomfortable. Evolution and change takes time. We must keep hope and move forward. John's long life was no doubt met with barriers. I bet many due to living a Black experience. I don't have to overcome barriers of being white because that concept is not a real concept. We, when I'm speaking to our white community, have to be willing to stick our necks out. When we do, we can deflect some of that negative energy directed towards minority groups that are already struggling with equity, equality, and belonging. And we show the power of the voice that protects, the voice that speaks up in the face of judgment, the voice that will carry us into a more loving and more joyful experience. That is the real work. That is John's work. Thank you.
Last year we tried doing a silent auction and nobody bought anything. And it made me realize maybe the way we were going about it, we've got to change some things. So this year, I want you to meet someone. She's not only a talented artist for over 30 years, she's local and actually part of my extended family. Please start clapping right now for Debb Peterson.
Hi, I'm Debb Peterson, local artist and a retired citizen of the beautiful Minnesota city of Albert Lea. I'm honored to have been asked to create a new painting for this year's Juneteenth celebration. They contacted me last month and asked if I was interested in creating a new painting to be raffled off, and I told them I'd see what I could come up with for an original painting. With Juneteenth as my main focus, I immerse myself into researching the history surrounding Juneteenth holiday. Many Americans, along with myself, are more familiar with President Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation, which eventually abolished slavery, but many are not so familiar with the Juneteenth holiday, which marks the day that General Gordon Granger, a Union officer, issued General Order Number 3 in Galveston, Texas, on June 19, 1865. This became a formal announcement of freedom for the enslaved people of Texas, where news of the Emancipation Proclamation had not yet reached. This order by General Granger was issued 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. I found that to be very interesting that it took that much time. Finally, after hearing this formal announcement, all people of the United States, including Texans and the people that they enslaved, now understood that slavery would be abolished. Having done my research, my muse was aligned, and with art supplies at my fingertips, I decided on doing acrylic painting on canvas. I began by painting a field full of men and a woman picking cotton. Then I reconsidered my choice and decided to use more symbolism than an actual scene of this sort of task. I wanted more emphasis on the aspect of freedom to bring hope and positivity into my painting. So I painted over these people with several shades of Caucasian flesh tones, which I felt was symbolic yet repulsive at the same time. It's disturbing to know that people of the same skin tone as I, what they have inflicted onto black people over the years. They may have the same skin tone, but they don't have the same heart as I do. While working on the new background, I hesitated while painting over the original figures. I didn't want to completely eradicate the people in the painting, so I made sure they were still peeking through from under the new glaze which I was laying down on the canvas. It's important to never cover up our history, or we're doomed to repeat it. Now, instead of painting the scene of sweat and tears while a group of enslaved people are laboring in a cotton field, I chose to paint a single branch from the cotton plant. Thank you, Dave. Although the cotton plant is strongly linked to the institution of slavery, it also represents resilience, renewal, and endurance. And its versatility inspired my creativity. While painting the cotton blooms, I realized I could create a more interesting composition by extending the cotton out beyond the hard shell it was held in, to depict it as blown free, a kind of emancipation of the cotton, so to speak. This excited me as I extended the cotton farther and farther from the hard encompassing shells. I felt a sense of freedom for the soft, billowy cotton. It was quite a journey to immerse myself into the history of Juneteenth. While creating this painting from the heart, where I was able to learn while creating and feel while painting, where the whole process evolved into a symbol of freedom, which I titled Free as the Wind. So with that, I present to you my painting, Free as the Wind. Many of you have bought raffle tickets today, which we will draw later with the possibility of winning the painting, the drill, and one of Yvonne's vases over there. Come find me when you're ready to buy your tickets. I'm back at the table over there. The raffle tickets are only $2 if you haven't bought them already. And the winners will be announced later on. And let's see. I also have some framed prints that if you're interested, they're $20 each. And I should have brought one up here, but you can see them back on the table. They are a group of diverse people who have gathered in a park, much like we have today. And I just thought it would be appropriate for this event. And I titled that painting, Come Together. The framed prints can be purchased for $20 each. Proceeds for both art pieces help to support this year's celebration. So thank you for coming together and participating in this year's Juneteenth celebration.
Well said. Are you comfortable and okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
My first question, as a white woman, why did you agree to not only create 2 pieces for this event, but raffle off a painting that is valued for about $175 for a $2 raffle ticket? What inspired you to want to speak today?
With my understanding of Juneteenth, in the process it took and the years it took to finally come to fruition, I felt that Juneteenth points out that everybody had to be on board. It wasn't just that some people knew about the emancipation and that slavery was abolished, but everyone had to be on board, because in Texas, before Gordon Granger got there, there was Black people that were being lynched or taken back to plantations where they had previously lived. And that's why his formal, what do you call it, his coming and doing his thing and helped that happen. And then it was actually later after that, before the 13th Amendment was actually came into being, where it was finalized anyways at that point. But as a white woman, like Holly said, what are you doing? What are we doing up here? But you know, we all have to be on board. It's not just we have to. It's we the people, and we have to live by that. We the people. And I myself, as an artist, love diversity. I love other cultures. I love weirdos and the eccentrics and different people because they're interesting.
I asked that question because I think programs like this hits differently when it's not just one Black person up here talking to a bunch of white people about being better and learning stuff. I think the message carries a lot of weight when you can see yourselves in these speakers. So I appreciate you being a part of this and doing this. As far as being an artist, like what is that, like you for over 30 years, like what has that taught you about yourself? Like what have you discovered?
Well, I feel like I've been an artist my whole.
Talking to the man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like I've been an artist my whole life. But 25 years ago, I went through a life-changing journey where I was reinventing myself. So, what becoming an artist means to me is, well, I have two things. One is God's gift to me. One of God's gifts to me is creativity. And what I do with it is my gift back to God. My other thing that art has taught me is it's never too late to become who I was supposed to be. So as I reinvented myself into an artist, I guess that was my journey.
I love that. Last thing, art, very similar to stand-up comedy, is very subjective. Like it's not always received the way that you would love. What do you want your art to say?
Well, my art is very whimsical, so just like your stand-up comedy, I like to bring smiles or laughter to people that view my art. Sometimes I sway away from that whimsical, but I never want to limit myself, so I'm open to trying other types of things, but most of my stuff is whimsical.
I love that. Please give this lovely young lady a few rounds of applause. We're going to keep the raffle open for pretty much the entirety of the program, so you can go grab one. I didn't mention this, but we do have restrooms right outside of that door. If you have kids and they're like, hey, we want to go run around, you're more than fine to leave and exit out the doors. And I didn't mention this, but maybe you saw the flyer. We are going to do a really fun water balloon fight after this program. It's something that I started for Father's Day. We've done it now for 7 years with my family. And on one Sunday, Father's Day and Juneteenth both fell on the same day. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of incorporate both of them. And for doing this here in this beautiful space, I thought it'd be fun to get outside and throw a couple of water balloons. So that is what we also have planned. This next speaker is someone who I actually did not meet until today. She sort of blew me away. I was looking for a speaker, and again, programs like this, I do want to include Black voices, but people that want to be a part. So I kind of was on Facebook, and then I found this young lady, and I slid in her DM, and I learned some things about her. And I was just blown away by her talent, her voice. She actually on one of our phone calls, she read one of her poems. And I was like, please, can you come and be a part of this? I don't know what the expectations are gonna be, but I think people need to see you, and I think people need to hear from you. So please welcome my next speaker to the stage, Yvonne Willis.
Feels like you're in control. Okay, pleasant good evening to everyone, and I am so glad that I accepted the invitation. First, I'm like, I don't know this guy, and it's kind of weird on Facebook, you know? so I kind of checked it out. My heart says yes, so it was my heart that answered the question for me. So this poem is entitled, I Rise. I rise. I rise to the call of uniting the left and the right, to make right the wrong that needs making right. I rise to teach the left and the right to come together. Let's search for the light that is hiding in the darkness that is in all of us. I rise to reclaim myself, to promote the positives that is on the back burner on the inside of me. I rise to take back my humanity from off the shelf of looking out for only self, to sell the truth for free, for the freedom of one and all. I rise to the call, to attend the ball where the music of peace is playing, while I dance in the glow of the sunshine of love for one and all. I rise to unite those that are bound by lies and fears, to build a bridge of forgiveness, while never forgetting the road that took us to this terminal of hate and division. I rise to tell the world that I am a historian, trusted with wisdom from above. To never forget how we get to this terminal of hate and division, I command one and all that you must never forget, but while you remember, it is not your reason to retaliate against those who don't like. Stop burning the bridge to the future. Let's rebuild the bridge called love. Let's get together and right the wrong. I rise to tell us that we are all wrong in trying to think that we are always right. We fool ourselves into believing that we have to blind each other with our light of rightness, calling ourselves children of God, a God we know nothing about. Anyone who knows anything about God knows that He teaches us to love and forgive each other 70 times 7 in a day. I rise to tell us to stop the mayhem, close the door of hate and division. Let's make an incision that leads to the vein of bitterness. Let's drain the bad blood from our body. If we don't, we are all going to drown in bitterness. We don't need any more bitterness. Let's share happiness. I rise, we rise. The sun rises and shines and still rises on the just and the unjust. So we must stop pointing fingers at each other. We must stop and turn the finger pointing back to ourselves. Take the cup of love that is sitting on the table of your heart. Time to make a new start. Come on, man, let's get together and start loving each other. I rise to light the flame, to shine my light, to do what's right, even when it is not popular. I rise to speak kindness, to send a message of hope to everyone, to live as one, to be one. I rise to embrace the pain and the fear I am feeling, and will be feeling as I try to stay in a safe zone. I cringe from fear while I lay in my bed. I am crying out to a world who is deaf to the cries of a woman like me. I cast myself aside, trying not to say anything to offend anyone, playing it safe, not for me, but as not to offend the people I call my friends. I rise to tell you that the playing ground is not level. In order for us to rise to a higher level, we have to speak truth to power each and every hour. I rise to the call to find a way to unite the left and the right. It shouldn't be that hard. After all, this is the United States of America.
I love that so much. You sort of already answered my first question. I was going to ask you, like, what made you're in Norman, Iowa, it's a 45-minute drive. I was going to ask you what made you really come here today, but I'm personally a little bit more intrigued on your story, like how you got to where you are. Do you mind sharing just a little bit about yourself or maybe your background, kind of what led you to here today? I know we didn't plan that, but I'm just so curious, and I think a lot of people might be interested in learning a little bit more about you.
Okay, I was born in Jamaica 6 years ago. There we go, I tell my age, I'm fine. So, 60 years ago. I'm turning 1 in October. So I'm starting over. So anyway, I came to the US like most people for opportunity. You know, some may have different reasons, but I know why I came. So, I have such a long story, it's okay. I gotta like get to a piece of it to explain them. My first husband in Jamaica, he kinda walked off and leave me with children and went and picked up a young girl. And the sad part that he picked up a woman with a familiar song name. Her name was she was. So anyway, so I was to figure out how am I gonna make ends meet, you know? And then it's like, I'm a Christian foremost, so it's like I just get this inspiration that I should write, you know, write my pain. So I guess the answer to why I'm here is I came out of pain, you know. So it's like I didn't write because I have a degree in writing or anything. I called my writing my shrink because I couldn't afford to go to shrink, so I had was to get rid of the dust and the cobweb out of my brain in order not to go insane. So I write. And I don't know if you have the question about the painting.
Yeah, I mean, you brought some pieces. Like, when did you discover you could write poems and you could do art? And, like, how old were you when that started? And when did you know, like, hey, I'm good at this?
Oh, I'm still not sure. Yeah, people are telling me I'm good, so. But like I said, I started writing in Jamaica, like journaling, that's how I started. It was just for my own peace of mind. And then it's like, people tell me, your stuff is good, but like I read. So my first book is entitled For the Sake of My Children. So it was when my first husband left me, you know, so. It's not a children's book, but it's like, I write in novels to be able to sell books. Well, you know you don't sell. I'm not sure you have a great idea, but I was developing, God was developing me. So my art now is, I started in 2021, and I call it my tragic story. My oldest son, he was 31 years old, and he died in a car accident. And he was a really great artist. So it was like, I didn't know how I was gonna live and survive, you know, because it's your child, you know? So it's like one day I was in my bathroom, and I was praying, and I just got this vision that I should pick up where he's left off, and I saw this vision of a black background, white circles joined together, and it was like so vivid, and I don't see vivid visions, so that was like very special. And then I closed my eyes, I opened my eyes, and then it came back to me, and I went and I get a paper and draw a couple circles, and 2 circles put together make a perfect number 8. And my son was born September 8th. I did not think about it at the time, you know? So I called my daughter in Jamaica and I told her, this thing just happened, you know? So that was how I started painting. So I call it my tragic story, and it's like I messed up my kitchen, and I messed up the wall, and I just could not stop, and I just keep going and going and going and going until I feel a peace, and I felt like I am actually an artist. You know, it was like it was hidden in me, but during my pain, it's like God used that to give me some peace and healing. So I actually have a studio that people can come, and it's like, you don't have to be perfect, because I didn't know nothing about painting. I do acrylic pour painting, so you get mad and you splash and you do whatever. That piece that is up there, close to the window, when I did that one, I was at an art sale, and this lady like, do you know Jackson Pollock? I'm like, no, I know nothing about art, you know? So when I looked him up, I thought, wow, he kind of looked like some of his stuff. I didn't know who he was, and I thought, Jackson Pollock? And like, he was kind of touched like me too, you know? So, did I answer your question?
No, that was great. I just wanted to learn a little bit more about you. Again, we just met today. I do have one final question, and I don't know how you would answer it, but being from Jamaica, living here, like, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Well, actually, I didn't really know much about Juneteenth. Last year, Reagan Banks had invited me to the function, but I was working, so I didn't come. But then I looked up, and then, you know, so I read what I read, but I cannot say that I was not in the struggle here, but as a Black woman, you know, I know that I'm a part of the struggle, and it's like, if God is turning me into a writer, it's like, these are places that, you know, I think I owe it to Him to come and express the gift that He loaned to me.
One more time, put your hands together for Yvonne. Again, she has some pieces. Please come check out her work after. This next young lady is someone I met a couple years ago. She organized a George Floyd rally here in Albert Lea. And again, when putting this program together, that's one of the things I really appreciate from Holly. She sort of said, hey, take this and invite who you like and put on a show. I wanted people that were local. But again, you hear from people that not only look like me, but look like yourselves. And this young lady just amazed me. I've had her on my podcast, and we talked in great deal. She is a young activist. And I asked her if she would just come and share a couple of words, and she agreed, and I'm very grateful to have her here. So please start clapping right now for Ms. Hannah.
Thank you, Dave. I'd like to thank everyone for being here to celebrate Juneteenth, a day of history, resilience, and hope. As a white woman speaking today, I recognize that I come to this space with the responsibility to acknowledge the past, to listen deeply, and to be part of the ongoing work for racial equity. That includes being anti-racist, not just in what we believe, but in what we do. Angela Davis, a powerful voice for justice, said, in a racist society, it is not enough to be a non-racist, we must be anti-racist. So what does that mean in everyday life? It means choosing to listen to and to learn from Black voices, by reading books by Black authors, supporting Black-owned businesses, attending cultural events, and having honest conversations with our families and peers about race, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. It means speaking up when we see discrimination or unfairness, no matter the time, place, or the other person involved. It means donating to or volunteering with organizations led by and serving Black communities. It means organizing our community and staying committed to fighting for justice. It means staying engaged, and not just on Juneteenth, but all year round. Juneteenth is about joy rooted in freedom and community, but it's also about responsibility. Today we both honor the past and, as white people, take accountability for it by acting in the present and building a better future for all of us. Thank you for being a part of this moment. Thank you for listening, learning, and showing up, not just with celebration, but with commitment. Happy Juneteenth.
This next speaker is someone who I don't know if he normally does this type of stuff. He's a gentleman that I've met actually at the barbershop. It was a local barbershop, and he's a local black business owner. And I just don't know if a lot of people know he's here, his presence. He opened this business called Minnesota Fresh, which is a clothing and fashion store. And he just had a new grand opening at a new location. So he doesn't really do this type of thing, but I thought it'd be really cool to introduce you guys to this young man. His name's Quinten, but he goes by a fun name, Crazy. So let's welcome Crazy right up here. Are you holding the mic too? Okay, sir.
Well, I want to say hello, everybody. Thanks, Dave. It's an honor to be here to talk on Juneteenth. I just want to talk about my struggle. My name is Quinten. About 8 years ago, I actually hit rock bottom. I was involved in drugs, alcohol. It took a toll on my life. I decided to give my life to God and say, you know, give me a second chance. And I tell you, he did. So on the way back up from rock bottom, the blessing's been good. I actually own my own business now, own my own home. I'm a 7-time felon. I got a full-time job. So it is possible. And I want to say for a black man, it's hard out here in the community, but you just got to be strong. And, you know, that's what I got to say.
That's beautiful. I like that. So my first question is, out of all the places to open up a business, why did you choose Albert Lea, Minnesota, or did it choose you?
Well, this is where I was at. This is where I hit rock bottom. So I wanted to come back up where I fell at. I wanted to see people. I wanted to show not only my people, but young kids and people who've been in my story that, you know, you can get back up. Don't run from it, because I feel like if I got up and got better and ran from it, then I'm not confronting my demons. I messed up here, I got right here, and this is why I'm going to be successful.
Like that. No, I have more. Can I ask you 2 more questions?
You can ask me anything.
As a comedian, I was going to come up with some questions. But no.
Well, how about where his business is? Come on, we can't.
Yeah. So 2 questions. You mentioned that things changed or turned around here. Where are you originally from? And then this lovely young lady wants to buy some clothes, so she wants to know where she can find your business.
Well, I'm originally from North Minneapolis. I came down here because I had a daughter down here, and so I just decided, you know, when it was time to change, let me come and raise my daughter. She was 7, now she's 22. She graduated, she's successful, she's doing her thing. So my store is located downtown Albuquerque, actually. I've been in 3 different locations. The first location I was in, they sold the building on me. The second location was the Northbridge Mall, which was no longer a mall. So I had to move. So now I'm downtown, 126 West Williams, Minnesota Fresh. And if you want to get fresh, you know, you can come see me. I got clothes for all people, kids, elderly, black, white, it don't matter. And it's an honor to be here on Juneteenth just to show that black excellence is real and we can make it.
That's beautiful. Let's leave it there. Because we're pressed for time, we're going to cut our safe space open forum. If you do have a story or you have something that you want to share, I am still open to hearing those things, but we just don't have the time right now. I want to get to this young lady who I met last year when we were doing this program. And to be clear, how I kind of became a part of it was I was following a post on Facebook. I kind of signed up, and Holly was like, hey, I would love if you can really kind of take control of this. And I love that honor. Juneteenth means a lot to me for the simple fact I didn't know what it was. And I'm going to say the B word, I apologize. I'd be damned if I let my kids grow up and not know what Juneteenth really means to us. So this young lady, part of the activist, part of this program for the last 3 years, I asked, hey, would you please come here and let's do like an interview like we did last year, and she agreed, and I want you guys to, my final guest, please start clapping right now for this incredible young lady, Erika.
4 years. It all started when my English teacher introduced me to this wonderful man named Mr. Smith, or John Smith. Sorry. I'm a student, I'm an activist, a poet, and I would like to talk about why we are here today, Juneteenth. A reminder of this day marking the abolishment of slavery. But it's not just this, it's a mark of us to continue fighting, a mark that our voices can be heard, and we are the ones that can make them powerful. When I met John Smith, I was very much uninformed about this holiday. I created this wonderful speech for him, and throughout the years, I stayed in touch with him up until I was in sophomore in college, which was last year, so up until December. And this day really means a lot, especially with knowing Mr. Smith and him teaching me and always believing in things that I can do and the power that I held with my voice. So, to mark the end of my speech, I'm going to say I did a poem about in 2022, which was one of his favorite poems that I had said. And I'm going to read it to you. You may write down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the dirt, very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you best beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with certainty of tides, just like the hope of springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed headed and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it off hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrous clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
So typically we would pull some chairs and we would sit down, but I don't know, I feel like there's so many bodies and all the cheers. Maybe if I just ask you a couple of questions and you share a little bit more, we can just conclude that way? Okay. So you talked about your relationship a little bit about John. I just kind of wanted to know if you wanted to go into any more details how you guys met or kind of what he meant to you, because again, this program, I was amazed that we were celebrating Juneteenth out here in Alberta, Minnesota. For the last few years, I've done comedy shows in Des Moines. I organized a park celebration in Mason City, Iowa. The fact that we're doing it out here, which is closer to me, I thought was really amazing. So I just didn't know if you wanted to kind of start with how you met John, or like your relationship, like how he's kind of been an instrumental part of what you're doing now.
Okay, yeah. I met John back June 18th of 2021. That year we didn't do the celebration. That year we didn't do the celebration on Juneteenth because it was Father's Day the next day. So I was introduced to him by my English teacher,
because my English teacher was looking for somebody to speak, and I always had a lot to say. So he had me come and talk to Mr. Smith. But when being introduced to him, I didn't know his age. I didn't know very much about him. And I'm gonna say a funny story. When I was at camp because I was applying to colleges the following fall. And this guy kept calling me, and I was anxious. I had anxiety. So I tried and texted him. Well, Mr. Smith doesn't have a mobile phone. So I got an automatic message saying, actually, Miss Girl, you gotta call this person. And I got so scared. But then I had that phone call with him, and all the worries just left my body. And that's how I started my entire relationship with Mr. Smith.
You have a piece over here in the corner. I didn't know if it correlated with anything that you wanted to talk about or that you already talked about, but do you mind sharing a couple of words about what's back there? Would you like me to grab it and show everyone?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to school for art, and I painted this to show off today. This was the last time I really saw John. Last year at our celebration, and I decided to paint it because with him and his words, they will always be with me. And the saying on there, I'm not going to say it because I might butcher the pronunciation of it, but in the meaning, it means in unity, there is strength. But yeah, so when learning that Mr. Smith had passed, our lovely colleague sent me this photo, and I was very touched because honestly, I didn't know when the last time I gave him a hug, there was a picture of it. So I was beyond thankful.
Two more questions and wrap it up, if that's okay?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable? Would you like a cheer?
Hmm?
Would you like a cheer?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confused.
We're doing two more questions. I didn't know you to sit down. You've been scamming a long time.
Oh, no.
Okay, you're young. I got it. I was interested in wanting to know about you as a young person. See if I can find the specific question. I want to end with that. Let's ask this. Why do you feel it's important to talk about, educate, and celebrate this day?
We as individuals, we learn from each other, and by educating and celebrating this day, we educate each other each a little bit each year. And it's important to celebrate and know about this day because we don't want to wash out our history. This wasn't a thing that was taught to me in high school, in my history class. This was something I researched and continue to research as I went through my high school years. So we really need to take time, talk to each other, and educate each other because washing out that history is just because of that.
And my last question is, what advice would you give young people that are trying to find their voice, whether it be in art or activism? Like, what advice do you feel like would work as far as reaching young people like yourself?
Don't be scared. Especially with me being a young person, and speaking, you don't want to be scared to speak your mind. I've been doing public speaking and speaking on these topics since I was a freshman in high school. Speaking at events, speaking at celebrations, but you don't want to cower away and think, what are people going to think of me when I speak? So with that, you have your voice holds power, and that power can be taken from you.
Everybody give it a big I'm kind of blown away. One of my favorite things about today is being able to hear from different people. Erika didn't mention this, she's a Latina. I'm black. We've had a bunch of white women. We had Yvonne, who was from Jamaica. Like, it's important no matter your race or your age. The fact that we've heard from someone that's 20, 40, and plus, it's important. We need to have these conversations. We need to talk about things. We need to celebrate. And so we're going to conclude with a couple of things. The first, you're pointing. Yep. Yeah, Raffle. What, man? The first is just to wake everybody up. There has been 2 mentions of I rise, and I want to just do a quick little chant of when I say I, you say rise, so that we feel not only empowered, but we feel united. So, I rise. I rise. I rise. Beautiful. Beautiful. I like you clapping. I like it. Number 2, are the balloons and everything good to go? Oh, that was a challenge. We wasn't sure how that was going to work. So what we'll do, are we allowed to exit out of these doors? So right out of these doors, again, if you're a kid, I brought my kids, they love water balloons. Like if you want to participate and have fun, immediately follow the program. Right through these double doors, we have a few balloons, not a lot, but if you want to participate and have fun, it's hot outside. Let's talk about it. We will do that, and again, anybody is, if you want to participate, you're more than welcome. Are we ready for the raffle? Okay, so at this time, if you guys want to pull out your tickets, Debb, actually, if do you mind making the trip all the way back up here? I'll have you pull the winning ticket. Last minute, is anybody, hey, I wanted to, she'll take $2. Are you taking food stamps? What else? How can you take? Venmo, farmers only, I don't know. How does it work? We did have, again, short with time, we did have a cancellation. There was a young lady, a high school student. So I won't share because she wrote a beautiful essay. If you are not following me on social media, I'm going to post her essay. She said some really powerful things. She was unable to be here because of a medical emergency. And I just don't feel right reading her words. So I'm going to post it on my Facebook. If you aren't following me, it's Day Piece, or my comedy group, Comedian Day Piece, or my business, which is Funny and Blessed Entertainment. I'm going to post that a little bit later. It's some beautiful words. And I think it's important. When I see young people here, I get excited. I would love, if we're doing this thing every year that we build, I see some beautiful black people in the room. I would love for next year, if you guys are interested and want to participate in any capacity, I want to hear from y'all. I want to know what you guys think. I want you guys to be a part of what we're doing. So, are we ready to give it a? I like your run walk. Does everybody have a ticket and we're ready to? All right. No, I want you to be back.
What are we drawing for?
Oh wait, so time out. We're doing 3 separate. Oh, I didn't know that. That's exciting. Okay. This is fun. I feel like a game show host. Okay. Like bingo. Okay, so let's do the drill first because our good friend that was it Home Depot. Yesterday, Debb went out selling her prints all over the place, and then there were some people that were like, hey, we would love to donate and be a part of it. So we are giving away a drill. My father-in-law knows all about drills. I don't, okay. But that looks fancy, and it looks like something pretty cool. You want me to read it? Okay, go on.
We're ready now.
Okay.
956021. We got a winner.
Go ahead and give your picture together and select the prize. Is that your wife?
No, sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. Okay, I didn't know if she was like, hey, you're the father, the late Father's Day gift or something like that.
I got this just for you. Also, while Deb was out, I don't know how she did it, but she got Heidi to donate all the bottled water that we had today, so thank you, Heidi.
So now we have Yvonne, she's, can you hold it up a little bit? That's a beautiful piece. We're going to, I was going to say auction, we're going to raffle that off. So go ahead.
There will be no auction.
No auction, never again. The numbers are
956034. 034. Woo-hoo!
What's the say? Double check these numbers, okay? Are you going to take it to that young lady? Hey, I like that. All the way back down for collecting and verifying. All right, and this is for the piece that is, I feel like we should have pulled it a little bit closer, but it's fine. No, the table was like, don't do it. This is for the painting. Go ahead and read those numbers.
Okay, so we got 956048. Woo!
That's my son. You give it to Deb, yeah. That's awesome. I appreciate it. To Deb and Yvonne, thank you for being here and showcasing your work. I hope you guys check out the table and purchase whatever you can. I have some free stickers and buttons over there. I do have t-shirts that I sell when I'm doing comedy. If anybody wants to purchase one, you're more than welcome to. Again, we have free goodies. Are they all gone?
There's still some goodies, and I did bring some tinfoil, so we want to
If you grab some to go, please do.
plate.
Grab more than you need, okay? It's free. Okay. To Hannah and Crazy, thank you guys for being here locally and coming up here and using your voice. Give them a round of applause. Hannah and Crazy. This young lady is here on behalf of John's family. She wants to say a couple words. Here you are.
I'm John's sister-in-law, Jeannie Pistorius. Anyway. And he would be so proud of you guys to all be here and so happy because this is one of his dreams was to make this thing happen here and all over the world. But even to make it a proclamation of a day of celebration is great. But we thank you totally for being here.
Thank you guys. Hopefully this continues to grow. If you enjoyed it, please go on social media and tag myself or Albert Lee, CVB. Just let people know that we're here. We want to hear from you. We want you guys to understand how important your voice is. And this is just me personally. Can we get a round of applause for all the black people in here? I think that's beautiful. I want you to appreciate you. Popping right now. Even on mixtape, they get half a clap. Y'all get half a clap. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Again, I'm going to go change because I'm going to be a part of the water balloon fight. Everybody get home safe. Appreciate you very much. Again, happy Juneteenth, aka Freedom Day.